Hello, this is Joshua for Frost Dragon Designs, and today I'd like to talk to you about my microbiology cat, hard enamel pin. This pin is part of my larger Cats Doing Science project, so let's get into the design. Other than the chemistry cat, the microbiology cat was the first cat in the Cats Doing Science series that I did a design for. You can tell real easily because when I started this design, I started with the chemistry cat. And if you look at the cat itself after I removed the chemistry set pieces, you can see that there's parts of the cat missing. And so that's kind of what happens when I recycle assets, because I didn't need to draw the rest of the cat because it was blocked by the chemistry set pieces. So what ends up happening when I expand an idea like this is I invariably have to recreate something that I want to be using as kind of the core for the designs. And so for the Cats Doing Science, what I really wanted to do is I wanted to have it be the same cat wearing a lab coat, standing on a book, and I wanted them to be exploring different disciplines of science. The color of the book could change, but otherwise I generally wanted the cat to stay the same. The project started with the chemistry cat, and I'll have a separate video talking about how that one was created. But what I really started thinking about was, why do I like science, and what do I like about science? And I started thinking back to when I was in school and what things in science classes, inspired me or caused awe in me as a student. And so it makes sense that microbiology was one of the first ones that I did a pin design for, because I remember the first time I looked through a microscope and saw like a little amoeba or something was swimming around. I don't remember what it was, some single-celled organism. And I would just remember thinking, this is incredible. Like, there's little tiny things all over the place. And that just was such an amazing moment for me, because up until that point, I never really thought about it. My parents said, oh, wash your hands. You have germs on them. You don't want to get sick. And so, I washed my hands like every little kid does. But I didn't really understand that there were little tiny living, moving things. And so to actually be able to see them and know that, it's there it is, that was like a pivotal moment for me. And it just kind of changed how I thought about things. That and, looking at like plant cells for the first time and being like, oh my gosh, there's so much more detail here on a smaller level than I am able to perceive on my own. I just thought that was an amazing thing. And so I know that this pin design itself probably doesn't look amazing when you see it. But for me, it really does represent that moment when it was just like, wow, there's so much going on here. And so while this is one of the tamer pin designs in Cats Doing Science, for me, I really feel like this one really hits an emotional chord with me. And I'm hoping that it does with a number of other people as well who've had a similar experience to my experience. Now, having said all that, I haven't really done much with microscopes since my school days, so I really did have to, I Googled microscopes and I looked at a number of microscope images on Google, and I kind of based this off of several different designs that I saw. I wanted it to be a realistic portrayal, not something super cartoony or super simple. So, I did take some artistic license with aspects of it, but I tried to make it look fairly realistic for, a cat pin design. The cat itself was a little challenging. When I do designs like this, it's somewhere in between a true cat anatomy and more of like a human-like anatomy. When I do my black cat RPG pins, that's much more like a human anatomy. When I do a lot of my cute cat pin designs, most of them, it's more like a true cat's anatomy. But when I have a cat like this standing up and doing human-like things, sometimes it can cause some issues with the anatomy, with making sure that it looks like they're performing a task or standing up or something of that nature, but still looking like a cat. We also have what I like to call the Winnie the Pooh problem, in that they're wearing a lab coat but no pants. This is fine both for Winnie the Pooh and for the cats. I mean, they're furry animals. They don't necessarily need all articles of clothing, so that's fine. But it can just be a little odd sometimes when you're trying to figure out how to portray the animal's anatomy. Overall, I'd say I did a pretty good job, though. Now, there is something about this design and the rest of the new Cats Doing Science pins. The book is slightly larger in this. I actually just noticed this while watching the recording of me working on this design. I made the book larger so that it looked good next to the microscope. And then I think I used this same cat and book as my basis for all the other Cats Doing Science pins. So that means that the chemistry cat book is going to be slightly smaller than the book for all the other pins in this series, because for the chemistry cat, I didn't do a new design for it because I wanted to be able to use the same molds that my manufacturer had already produced when I originally had the chemistry cat pin design made. So I don't know if I'll ever do a new design of a chemistry cat, but if I do, I will make sure that the book is that slightly larger version that all the other Cats Doing Science pins have. I really like the way this design turned out. I hope you do too. And if you liked this video and you'd like hearing about why I'm creating any of these pins and that sort of thing, please go ahead and like and subscribe. I have 1 or 2 new videos out every week talking about various pin designs that I've made, and I would love to have you along for those. Thank you so much, and have a great day.